Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Paul Caldwell for the weekly Organo Chairman's Call. Um, can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Edward, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Coming out clear. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. Perfect. Thank you very much. So I guess probably a minute or so or a few seconds and all the social media channels will light up still. Is that correct? Same? Oh, there they are. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I see them lit up. So we'll just go ahead. Thank you very much, Edward. I appreciate you. Um, So everybody, thank you for being on here today. My name is Paul Caldwell. For those of you that don't know, I'm the chairman and CEO of Organo. And I put this video Zoom together every month for every Monday at this same time because I felt like it was important to get the corporate message out, sort of the state of the company address, if you will. It's an opportunity also for me to bring you up to speed on things that are new or upcoming or anything that I feel like might need to talk with you about. I'm quite active in the day-to-day of the business, and therefore I think that all of you can benefit from what I have to say, and then I can certainly benefit, and the company can benefit from your feedback related to what I have to say. And it's that sort of collaboration and communication that really makes things work out. And then when the COVID-19 pandemic started striking in China and we started having to react to it, and then it came into Europe, it started hitting other places. We were pretty far ahead of that because of our work in China already. And so from Organo's perspective, the response was great, but I felt like it was a good opportunity for me to get on every single week and just give you an update related to all the goings on. And I usually start these, and I will start this one with a bit of a COVID-19 response. I'm kind of tiring of hearing about all of the numbers and the curve flattening or the curve not flattening and all these kinds of things on the news cycle and so forth. But it is important. It is a very serious global pandemic, and while there are reduced numbers in certain places, and certain places are opening, there are also places without reduced numbers that are still opening up their markets, and so on and so forth. So it's all over the place. And as I said last week, it very much is episodic. It's episode to episode to episode. And from that perspective, it's very much localized. So it's a global pandemic, but from a business point of view, from a business perspective, from our point of view, it is very local because we literally have countries where we're have had to shift to different delivery services from city to city, where normally it would just be, okay, this is our contracted delivery service in this place or this area or whatever. Now it's cities have different regulations on what can get delivered and what cannot get delivered. Organo has to be deemed essential. The products have to be deemed essential and all of that. And in some of these places, it requires a formal government certificate. So long ago, our management team acted, and they did a very good job. I'm really proud of all of that work that they did. They did a nice job of getting the company deemed essential where that was necessary, getting the required certificates and documentation in place in a timely and orderly manner so that people could continue to receive their products. So consequently, what happened? COVID for Organo means growth. COVID for Organo means that we have a lot of people sitting at home. We have a corporation, an enterprise here that's global, that operates in 36 countries. And what it really means is that everybody went remote. So we were somewhat centralized in these countries, and then everybody broke apart, and the people started to go and work from their homes. We've learned so much from that. We have learned a lot. It has been a learning experience. And I'll tell you what, I think the outcomes from that learning experience are going to benefit this company for decades to come. Because one of the things that we learned is we can operate very efficiently and very effectively remotely. So as part of our business continuity plan, we've been able to make adjustments to that, adaptations to the existing or the former business continuity plan around the world. And whether we're talking about business continuity from a geopolitical risk perspective, or whether we're talking business continuity from something like this pandemic, or maybe something related to supply chain, this has given us an opportunity to also shorten our supply chain, which has been a critical thing. And we've really been able to make a lot of things more efficient through being more effective, through staying effective. So we're getting our efficiency gains through being effective, or our eye on being more effective and responsible in the business. So consequently, there are a lot of new technologies, because part of that exercise has been, for the last 19 months anyway, a move towards becoming a better digital version of ourselves. So Organo becoming a better digital version of itself anyway. So when COVID-19 comes around, well, we were already in flow, moving forward, becoming that better digital version of ourselves, and we were able to accelerate some of those things. And it's worked out very, very nicely, fortunately. So that's some fortuitous positive for Organo. Now, on top of that, COVID-19 has helped us, enabled us to create some private-public partnerships around the world that we probably normally wouldn't even have engaged in, certainly not now or soon, given what our focus was. But now it's been an opportunity to create those things, and that involves many of you. As the public sector and then the private sector, Organo comes together in the markets that we serve to help the people that needed to help, that still are coming together to help the people that need the help. And all of you, those of you that have jumped in and really provided that support for whether it's PPEs or masks or whatever it's been, everybody on this call right now that did that and that continues to do that, I just want to say thank you. And the biggest thank you I could give you is that there are a lot of people out there on the front lines, and you guys recognized it, and you deserve that appreciation and those accolades that go along with it, because you're making their lives easier and the lives of their families easier. And that's a big, big deal. So when it comes to family and when it comes to a purpose-driven enterprise, Organo is certainly that, always has been that. That's not a new thing at Organo. Just because our firm came in and did an acquisition at Organo and so forth, that doesn't mean that Organo already wasn't a family-oriented, purpose-driven company. It very much was that already. We inherited that, and we're trying to just continue and accentuate that and grow that and make that even bigger and better around the world as we go forward. That can't happen without each of you doing your part. If each of you just do a little across the Organo ecosystem around the world, that adds up to a whole lot of contribution. So thank you very much for all that you do, all that you have done, and all that you will do going forward. Very much appreciated. The only other update related to COVID-19, I think everybody on this call probably knows that it's all over the place. Pay attention to your local regulatory authorities in the public sector. Listen to them. Listen to your disease control places, your institutes of health, and these places that really know. Again, I said a few weeks ago, being informed does not equal informedness. And what that means is listen to somebody that actually knows. Don't listen to somebody that doesn't know. Because you need to get your information. If you really want good information, you need to get your information from credible sources that are really there, really doing the work with boots on the ground. That's it on that. From an Organo point of view with COVID-19, we have two additional plans in place. Now that countries are opening, we have our how do we react when a country or a city or a town opens up, how do we react to that? What do we do to make sure that we continue to provide the highest levels of service and products and services? How do we do that? So that's a plan that's come into place. And then the second piece to that is, what are we going to do downstream if the predictions for a recurrence of COVID-19 or some variation thereof come about in the regular flu season? What do we do then? And how do we react then? How do we fall back if a country all of a sudden sees a huge spike up in cases of COVID-19? Chances are that country will start to clamp back down. And how do we react then? So as you can see, it really is episode by episode as an enterprise that you have to react. And when we're doing that in 36 countries, there are a lot of people in this enterprise. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I know some of you are on here right now from inside the corporate enterprise. I'll tell you, a lot of people are not getting a whole lot of sleep this last 60, 90 days. So I appreciate all that and your contributions. I really do. It's majorly impressive. And thank you very much for that and for all you do. So I want everybody on here to know that Organo has these business continuity plans in place. We've made some adaptations to the continuity plan, as I've said previously on this call, but we've also made some adaptations to some of our preparedness levels in certain places where it's a little bit, it's smarter, or it's smart to have maybe a little bit more presence on virtual presence, digital presence. It's smart to have 2 or 3 or 4 different delivery companies under contract, maybe in some places where you can just move between them and share the loads between them to get I'm talking about last mile delivery to the homes of people when people can't get together and so forth. And then there's some unique things that have happened. I mean, some of you folks have just created some amazing, unique, and interesting ways to make things happen. You know, we had one place where they simply could not get products, last mile delivery. It just wasn't working. But a distribution partner stepped up and said, "Hey, I've got an idea. I've got a friend who has a grocery store over somewhere, I don't know, in some town, has a grocery store, and all the grocery stores are open for anybody to come. So what if I told them I would like them to take the Organo products into their grocery store, and our distributors could just bring a printout, or on their mobile phone could bring the receipt, the invoice for their order, and they could go get it to the delivery store, and that way it could get shipped to the delivery store, which was allowed, or to the grocery store, which was allowed, and that could act as our pickup center." And so we said, well, let's see if that'll work. Well, you know what? Lo and behold, that's a good idea, and that can work, and that can become part of a plan like that. That can become part of a strategy. But you know what else that can do? That could become part of a broader strategy. As you think about a business model going forward. Of course, in the direct selling space, that's not ever going to work easily unless there's a tremendous amount of technological innovation. But it's something that gives you an example of how everything we do at Organo, we're trying to learn. So we're trying to learn and learn and learn. Every day we're trying to learn, we're trying to get smarter and faster and stronger and leaner and meaner and more purposeful. And everything we do is purposely unordinary to the direct selling profession. Because if we stay ordinary in the direct selling profession, we're going to be like many other companies, and we're going to become irrelevant as an enterprise in the long term. That is for sure. That writing's already on the wall. So there's no reason to stay ordinary, and it's important, and it's fun, and it's interesting and innovative and disruptive to be purposely unordinary. So that's what we're doing, because our ultimate goal is to transform the way people think about how they do something that matters to them. And that could be simple things. That doesn't have to be a big deal. You know, Uber did it. Uber innovated with technology, and through that technology, they disrupted the ride space. In other words, they disrupted the taxi cab space. How many Uber drivers do you know that are beloved by taxi drivers? That's my point, right? Not many, because they disrupted the taxi business, and in many cases, the regular limousine business. And that's why many limousine drivers became Uber drivers. But what did they really do at Uber? What was their ultimate outcome? They transformed the way people think about how they do something as simple as taking a ride. That's what they did. So that's critically important. So when you think about, when you hear us at Organo, you hear us talk about innovation. It's not just innovation to innovate. It's not direct selling, network marketing type innovation, which is typically just to create better versions of the same old thing. Now, we want to innovate to disrupt, but then you have to ask, well, why do you want to disrupt? Because we want to disrupt, not just to disrupt and say, hey, we have a disruptive technology, or we have a disruptive business model, or we have a new disruptive workflow process that enhances our customer service platforms and that kind of stuff. That's not the point. The point is to disrupt for the purpose of transforming the way people think about something that matters to them. And that's what we're doing. So that's why it's critical for us all to be communicating with each other, and for Organo as an enterprise to communicate so that you are communicated with in the way that you want to be, and in a professional manner, so you realize that, hey, this business enterprise is adding value, bringing value to you and to all of your customers. And I know there are customers on here. I love the feedback that I read that comes back from these, that I see or I hear about, that are customer-oriented feedback. Thank you very much for being on here as a customer. That pretty much sums it up on COVID-19. Don't have much more to say about that, except be responsible, and also be thankful that you have the opportunity to go out and serve other people, and be grateful for that. That's very important. Now let's switch a little bit. Let's switch gears to Organo and the business and how things are going and what's going on around the world. Kudos to that Africa team, first of all. That Africa team is growing the business out and back like crazy. I never expected that Africa would have the kind of growth that it's seeing right now on a percentage over basis. It's fantastic. Thank you very much for all of you that are on here from Africa. I know it's getting into your evening, and also all of you in Asia too. I'm not going to forget about you. I know it's very early in the morning for you, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. kind of time frames, and so I just appreciate everybody being on here, no matter where you're at, because you're investing some of your time with me, and I appreciate that. But the Africa team is going and growing. We have an initiative underway right now for Africa expansion in certain countries, but we're going to get our foundation strong in all the countries that we are operating in right now in Africa. Cornell Van Gran is doing an awesome job there with everything that she's working on and everything that she's doing. And I'm very proud and happy for her, and for all the work that she's doing. So if you're on here from Africa, and I know there are quite a few of you are, please reach out and say thank you to Cornell, because she's really working very hard and very smart at the same time, and getting things done across Africa. We soon should be seeing some resurgence in other parts of Africa, new parts of Africa. And as we do that, you'll see notifications coming out. I'll probably be announcing it, or I'll definitely be announcing it on this call when those things happen. So anyway, Africa growth, awesome. Europe, the EMEA region has responded to COVID fantastically. The folks in Italy I got to tell you, they are resilient people in Italy. They do an amazing job under really tough circumstances. And they stayed the course. They've stayed the course. They continue to stay the course, and they intend to win. And that's great. It's important to be a winner, because if you're not a winner, then you're probably the opposite of that. And what is that? Well, you know what that is. And then there are people in the middle. Some people would argue that point and say, well, how about the people in the middle? They're not a winner, they're not a loser. But no, I consider if they're not a loser, they're a winner, because maybe just because someone doesn't want to earn a bazillion dollars and drive fancy sports cars and have big homes and do all these great things that some people love to do, just because they don't enjoy that, and maybe they're not an outward person, maybe they're more introspective or whatever. That doesn't mean they're a loser. That just means they're quiet, or that just means they don't care about material things. And they could still do, and many people are like that do great things in this world. So it's not just about the type A personality, go get it and whatever person. It's also that really the people that aren't like that can also do great things in this world, and do great things in this world. So my point is that the things that are going on at Organo right now, with no matter whether you're an extrovert, an introvert, a centrovert, that means you're somewhere in the middle of introvert and extrovert, no matter what, the growth is happening. And in Europe, the resilience that you people have shown is nothing short of terrific. And it's definitely noticed. And I'll tell you what, you all deserve a pat on the back for staying the course. And those of you that did, and those of you that contributed to that, and that continue to contribute to that, you're seeing that show up as well. If you're a distribution partner, you're seeing that show up in higher income. You're seeing that show up in your income streams. You're seeing that show up in the number of customers that you've been able to acquire, and the number of people that give us the honor of sending them a product every week or every month or whatever. So it all shows up in the numbers, but numbers are not facts. Numbers are just represent facts. So the facts happen in the business, not in the numbers, but whatever happens in the business shows up in the numbers. So while it's important, and I'm very much data driven, and I'm very much a finance guy, I have my finger on that pulse and have for many years. I understand all that very well, but I also understand none of that matters if the business doesn't work first. So consequently, I always put probably 70% of my energy on the business and the business operations, and then 30% on the financial engineering, financial management aspect of the business, because I know that if there's no money to manage, it's pretty easy to manage the money. If there's no resource base to work from, it's very, very difficult. And so we're very focused on that. And I know all of you likewise think similarly when it comes to building your businesses, all the distribution partners watching this, because for you, it really is about activity drives productivity, productivity creates liquidity. It's a simple 3 steps, but back here in activity, it has to be the right amount of activity. It can't be this little much and you expect great things to happen if you only do this much work. Even though you're doing great work, you do a great job. You're the best recruiter on the planet, or you're able to get everybody you talk to decides they want to become a customer of Organo. But if you only do this much, it's not going to matter very much. So it's still about the measure of work that you do, the amount of work that you do. And then that's the quantitative piece to it. But then there's the qualitative piece. When you do all that work, it has to be the right work, because if you do a whole bunch of nothing that matters, if you do a whole bunch of junk, it's still not going to create that second piece, which was productivity. So activity yields productivity, but only if the activity is done in enough measure to matter, and only if it's correct activity. Then it can equal productivity. Once it equals productivity, as you scale that correct activity through yourself and others through this process of duplicating a successful program and successful habits. And people really embrace this level of innovative entrepreneurship where they want to get better and better and better, and they do as a person, then their business will grow and that productivity levels will continue to go higher. And your liquidity or income, what Organo pays you, will then be determined basically by the amount of productivity in your business. That will be the yield for what gives you the liquidity, which is what you'll receive from your work. So it's really those three simple steps, and some of you have embraced this like crazy online, and you're doing you're just doing. Some people are doing 3 and 4 and 5 Zooms a day with different constituents, different parts of their center of influence. Sometimes they're doing it with friends, family, friends of theirs. They're doing, and they're talking to them about the Organo experience. Other times they're doing it with casual acquaintances that they've met there, and other times they're gathering strangers through social media marketing in various ways, and they're doing Zooms that way. It's terrific to see, and not only is it terrific to see, it's great. It makes me feel good to learn from some of that from you guys and from the kinds of things that you're doing. And so thanks for that. I have big ears and I listen a lot, and I've been on a couple of these Zooms and that you guys have put on, and it's interesting. I like to see it, and some of them have just so many people. It's unbelievable, and others are a very small group, maybe 40 or 50 people that are doing a training, and then they're inviting 1 or 2 other people that are new, that just got started, and they're coming into a training, and so it's a training Zoom. So these technologies can be leveraged for lots of things, I guess is my point. So that's the first piece related to Organo, is the business is becoming a better digital version of itself. The enterprise, the ecosystem is completely adapted to that at the moment. And by completely adapted, I mean adapted at the philosophical level, adapted at the operational level. Although I do believe that it's just going to get better and better, because we're constantly learning something. There's not a week that goes by that we don't learn something that I'm aware of. So I'm sure that every day as an enterprise, we're learning something about how to be a better digital version of ourselves, or in the enterprise level, a better digital version of the entire enterprise globally. I know that in some of the foreign markets, some of our frontier markets that we're in, it's the same kind of thing, and it's fun to watch that ramp up and really take root, and people take hold of it and get on their mobile device with the new Organo funnel marketing system. That thing is awesome. And so as you adapt to the realities of the business, not the realities of the COVID-19 situation, but the realities of this enterprise, the new Organo, out on a global basis. I mean, I'm talking about Organo Global. You will see that that it's a new dawn and a new day in this space. So as an enterprise that uses direct selling as its method or its means to diffuse and distribute products to markets around the world, how we do that and why we do what we do is unique, purposely and ordinary, and it really is becoming disruptive. I see the beginnings of the innovation starting to create some disruption in the space. And I planned on seeing that. I planned on experiencing that, but I really didn't have an idea when I could put my finger on that. I just knew that it would be sometime after the first 18 months, because that was a stabilization phase for us, and we were developing technologies and testing them and validating them and doing all this thing. But now I'm starting to see some of that come around. One example of that is the OG Pay button in the back office. Soon to be a global phenomenon. Now it's North America, but you can for many of you on here, you can already just go into your back office and you can just pay with your OG Pay wallet. So if you have funds in there from your commissions, you can just use that to pay for your next order. No big deal. Just click the button and pay with OG Pay wallet. You can load funds onto your OG Pay wallet from any outside source, including your credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, American Express. You can load funds into your OG Pay wallet. You can do so much with OG Pay. So I encourage everybody to get to learn more about OG Pay. If you only use it for your commissions, but you don't use it for anything else, like money transference and telling your friends about it and getting them, getting your own little community in to share money, like a Venmo type thing or something, then you're missing out, because there are benefits for you doing that as a member of the Organo ecosystem. So anyway, you can get with your organizational leadership on that, or you can get with the company or customer service, and you can learn more about that when you have some time, or when you decide that you want to do something and get really aggressive with the OG Pay platform and understanding it, I guess I should say. So the point is, though, that the innovation and the disruption level, it all supports the entrepreneurship. It all supports the entrepreneurship. So that newness and those things are here now, and that's your enterprise right now. And right now in America, certainly, and around the world, right now, because people have been working from home for so long, they've become accustomed to sort of new habits and new things and new ways of doing things. Anybody that's been considering entrepreneurship that then I personally believe they should hear about the Organo experience, and let them have that Organo experience and share that with them, talk with them about it. If they really are thinking about innovative entrepreneurship or creating a supplemental income stream to bridge the gap. There are a lot of people that are getting government stipends at the moment, monthly pay, because of COVID-19. And while that's a wonderful thing, I think it was really terrific around the world to see the various programs that go on in the countries that we serve. It's oftentimes not enough, because it's just still a small portion of what the person was earning. And the company might be laying off, or this and that or the other thing. So people are looking for opportunity to create supplemental income streams. And with the Organo experience, it's a relatively low cost, low risk environment in which they can embrace innovative entrepreneurship and learn how to generate an income stream, transactional income stream, or passive income stream, a residual income stream, that can then turn into them having a path, a plan, a long-term plan for actually creating wealth for them and their families. And that's something that's magical, I think. And it's also elusive. It's not a lot of people, that actually ever get to enjoy the true benefits of wealth. So for those of you on here that have it, I know you're very respectful of that, and you're quite grateful that you've been given the opportunities to have that type of lifestyle, not for you necessarily, but for your family and your kids and your kids' kids, and the ability to leave a legacy for your family beyond just having a pension and retirement, and then your kids go off and they do whatever they do, and tell them, hey, we raised you for 18 years, God bless you, go to school. And there is a place of living beyond that level of living, and that's kind of where great life happens. Not that great life can't happen in other places. It can, don't get me wrong. I'm not a guy that believes having a job or having work or being employed is a bad thing, so everybody should quit their job and go out and become an entrepreneur. I'm not a guy that believes that. I do not believe that. I think being gainfully, meaningfully employed and making contributions is a very important thing. And also, I always say, well, if you think being employed is so bad, go talk to an engineer at Google that was there on day 3 and is still there, and check their net worth. It's far higher. They're worth far more than most entrepreneurs in this world ever will be. Why? Because they were in the right place at the right time. And back then, they had a spirit of innovative entrepreneurship because they weren't getting paid. They were just writing code and doing things. So it's all relative. My point is, if you know people that want to or have thought about or might be thinking about supplementing their income or creating an additional income stream, or they're looking for a complete alternative to what they used to do, they should hear about the Organo experience. So I think it's important for everybody to get out there aggressively like never before in history. If you've been with Organo and you've been a value distribution partner for a few years, whatever your best month was, whatever your best year was, you have an opportunity right now, in my opinion, to go out and recreate that right now. If you get aggressive, if you get serious, and if you go out and you reinvent yourself inside your business, and you go out and reinvigorate your base inside your business, and then you go outside your business and you bring in that new growth aggressively. The people that do that right now, in my opinion, are going to be the people that are going to be standing on the stage first quarter of next year or whenever it is, getting some very nice rewards for their achievements. And it doesn't take that long, but the reality is it takes a while for most people to get dialed in and to really create, to get something going where they really can create something amazing. And I think you have an opportunity to do that right now. I just encourage each and every one of you to do that. For those of you on here that are customers, thank you very much for entrusting and for voting with your money and your purchase. When you buy an Organo product, I want you to know that we're thankful and we're grateful that you're there. We'll never take that for granted. And we will always appreciate you as much as anybody else. You're super valuable to us. And if there's something that we need to do better, you can always send an email as an Organo customer to grm@organogold.com. That's GRM Golf Romeo Mike @organogold.com. And you can ask that question, or you can provide that input if there's something you think we can do better. We want to know about it. I want everybody in our enterprise to know about it so we can make those adjustments and adaptations to make your Organo experience better. Thank you very much for all of that. And in alignment with that, that whole concept of business development, and now it's time for growth, we've instituted a new program inside the company. We call it the BDC program. This is the Business Development Coordinator program, our coordination program. And it's made up of business development coordinators. And a business development coordinator has a three-pronged stool. It's a three-prong approach to helping the business grow. These are corporate employees, enterprise level corporate employees that are out in regions around the world, and their whole purpose and their whole purpose in life, their whole intent in life is to grow the marketplace, is to build the business and grow the marketplace. And they do that through assisting our value distribution partners, assisting our existing customers. They do it by creating and coordinating things like our beauty bar showcases, the pop-up shops, the Trovala piece, all of these things, introducing OG Pay, providing customer online virtual customer expos so your customers can go to an online expo and learn about products and understand them a little bit better. And these kinds of things we'll have experts in, and the business development coordinator coordinates all of those activities, but it's regionalized. So in the United States, there are 5 regions, and not including Alaska and Hawaii, and there are other regions in every other country. So ultimately there will be a very large force of business development coordinators. Now, this job is not going to be for everybody. Some of these people are going to come on, and they're going to come on very enthusiastically as a business development coordinator, and then it's not going to be for them. They don't want to. They don't want to be a part of it, and we don't want them to be a part of it. It's that kind of a thing, right? But over time, what will happen is, by having the best of breed business development coordinators come into the space and build, we will embrace them, and we're compensating them in a way that they are incentivized to help you create lift in your market, in your business. And they're incentivized to helping all of you that are watching, that are customers, helping you understand and become more educated about organo, about our ecosystem, about all of our vertical markets we operate in, and the products and services that you can enjoy from those verticals that can help you and have a more meaningful life and enjoy these products and through enjoying these products and services. I'm really excited. I'm enthusiastic about this business development coordination platform, this program, and the business development coordinators coming on board. So these are just people that you'll get introduced to them. You'll see them out in your markets. You'll see them popping up in Zooms, and you'll see them popping up all over the place. But you'll know about it because you'll be invited, and you'll be able to tie in. You'll be able to plug in to the things that these business development coordinators are bringing to the enterprise and to the ecosystem. So that's a new thing. It's been being planned for quite some time. It's now implemented. We brought on our first business development coordinator the week before last in the United States, and specifically in the southwestern part of the United States. We have a Southeast United States business development coordinator that position is being interviewed for right now. And we have some candidates that we're looking at. We have Southeast Asia interviews going on, and candidates there that are being looked at and evaluated. We're having conversations with them, Zoom conversations, because we can't do anything else really effectively right now. So it's Zoom based, and it's working out really great. So you're going to start to see those people come into the mix more and more as an additional level of support. They will also be working with our valued channel partners inside the various verticals in the channels. So the BU, beauty and cosmetics, they'll work in those channels. So they'll get to know all of the various channel managers and managers in the verticals as we go forward with this. But that's just, I want to make that announcement because they're there to assist, and they're going to be working aggressively as well to make sure they do that. So I guess my main message is on the company side, activity equals productivity, which equals liquidity. And if you want, as a distribution partner, you want to create great liquidity for yourself and your family from an income perspective, and then you want to learn how to turn that into wealth. You want to understand the process for that and what that takes. And it's not an easy journey, but you're willing to take it, and you want to embrace that innovative entrepreneurship, then you know what? I believe you're in the right place. And I also believe that if you will go out and work with energy, maybe like you've never worked before, you're going to find an environment, and you're going to find large numbers of people who, like never before, have been wide open to a conversation about learning more about the organo experience. So if you'll do that, then I believe you'll have a better, a bigger, a more, a longer, successful organo experience. Because what you do today and what you do tomorrow determines the outcome of what it looks like, what your business looks like next month, next year. And it's easy to say, and it's easy to listen to that. It's easy to hear that stuff. I know, because I remember when I was in my 20s, I would hear that kind of stuff. And I'd go, oh, yeah, that just makes sense. Wow, yeah, I got to get to work. Okay. But I never really internalized that until I was probably 30 or something, young 30s. I internalized some things, and I thought, wow, if I just got busy extending and expanding this company that I've had already, and if I just did some things to get serious about this and started getting myself in position and positioned with meaningfully successful, relevant people around the world that could give me advice and guidance, and if I could surround myself with a brain trust of really brilliant people, man, I could probably make something of this. And that's what's happened, and that's worked out pretty good, and that can work out pretty good for you. And you already have a brain trust. You already have an organizational leadership. You already have an enterprise and the company that wants you to succeed, because the company knows that with your success comes its success. And it's really nice being married in the market like that with you. So please take that seriously when I say go out and work with energy and enthusiasm and inspiration, like you've never worked before. And I think you're going to run into markets that have never been as open before as they are now about hearing about this organo experience. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I have for you today. Look forward to seeing you again next week at the same time. I have a couple of other updates for you. We're going to be launching a couple of new pieces of some of this innovative technology, some of these things, and one of them is an additional add-on to the OG Pay platform. One thing I will tell you about OG Pay, if you haven't seen the announcement yet, go out to, if you go to OG Pay and you go to load funds, you'll now see a second way to load funds. It's called a teller load, T-E-L-L-E-R load. And right now it's tied to our main banking partner that is behind OG Pay with the DDA accounts, which is JP Morgan Chase Bank. You'll see it there in the load funds under the teller pay. This is where you can go into any participating bank. Right now, JP Morgan Chase is the only one, but they have branches all over the world. But you can go there and you can make cash deposits. You can make deposits into your account with a cash or a check or whatever into your OG Pay account. And that will go right into your wallet and load immediately into the funds in your wallet. So you can transact business through OG Pay right at the bank. As participating banks, as we bring on other participating banks around the world, you'll see more and more of those open up in various countries. But that's something, that's sort of an interim release that we did. We released the OG Pay button in the shopping cart. Then this interim release came on stream last week. And next week, we should be making another announcement. And I hope to be able to do it on the call, this call next week. So, hey, everybody, thank you very much. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. Be great, be good, do something great, do something good for someone else today. You'll feel good that you did. Look forward to being back on here next week. Take care, make it a great week. Bye-bye.